right, folks, good evening to you. Welcome one and all to another date on the Journalist Hangout show. I'm sitting in for Ayo, who is a little under the weather. No, it has nothing to do with COVID. But welcome. You know, today on the program, federal government places ban on travelers from China, US, UK, and 10 other countries following the coronavirus pandemic, bars ministers from making foreign trips. Later on, we'll share this with you. Oshiomhole APC chairman sues for peace after resuming office. He waves the olive branch to aggrieved APC members. Let's report that I'm hanging out for the first time ever with Olabisi Deji-Folutile. I got that right?
Yes.
Yeah, welcome. I greet you.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, Mojeed Jamiu is a regular face here, so the team is ready. I hope you are. Now, make no mistake about it, the coronavirus disease, what you call COVID-19, has spread across multiple continents, including ours, which is Africa. And of course, it is justifiably declared a pandemic by the World Health Organization. The federal government has consequently banned travelers from China, the US, the UK, Italy, Iran, South Korea, and others from coming in. This is in a bid to curb the spread of the dreaded disease. Secretary to the federal government, Boss Mustafa, in his relieving announcement, also ordered all orientation camps of the NYSC nationwide to shut down immediately as a consequence. Now, the travel ban also affects all public servants. Be ever vigilant, the saying goes, but never suspicious. Have you heard that before, madam?
Yeah, very well.
Be ever vigilant, but don't be suspicious.
Honestly.
There's no time for suspicion
No,
here.
no, not at all. But we have to be vigilant.
Okay.
Very.
So the pandemic is upon us. It's not a question of, this is not my portion. So, and government has reacted. Some would say belatedly,
yeah.
But better belated than never.
Than never, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I think also. Definitely, it's belated. Government ought to have taken a decision before now. But then, just like you said, it's never
too late.
Too late.
Yeah.
You see, there are still many other loopholes that we need to block.
Okay.
Though we need to commend the federal government for taking this step. You will recall that the National Medical Association,
Nigerian Medical Association,
and the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, and in fact, I think the Airlines Operators of Nigeria, in the last 1 or 2 weeks, have been calling on the federal government, to take a step, a specific, step concerning this matter, particularly concerning flights coming into the country. And they've also
but you don't think government was deliberately pussyfooting? You don't think so? Because government is also, like us, studying the situation.
I think so. But you know what? I think, you see, let's just look at it from this angle.
Okay.
Whatever could be government's consideration, I want to look at it as being from probably the economic point of view.
Okay.
Now, but when you look at a situation where, because you want to save the economy, you put the lives of the people at risk, and at the end of the day, even the money you are trying to conserve, you spend that, even more than that, to also solve the problem that you inadvertently bring upon yourself. So that is why we need to look at it.
Of course, that they say when you pour oil on troubled waters, what do you pour on troubled oil?
Wow.
And oil is troubled now.
It's troubled. That is just it. That is just it. And anyway, it's a good step. It's a right step in the right direction. We need to actually acknowledge that. And then we also need to say that it is not enough.
Yeah.
It is not enough. The land borders are still there.
But they had been shut.
The land borders were shut to goods.
Yeah, to goods.
And not to human beings.
Yeah.
They were shot.
So those goods are ferried in by human beings.
No,
Okay.
I think the land borders that were shot for us, I think we shot the Benin,
No, Benin,
the
Niger, and
Niger and
all our borders.
all
our
our
borders.
borders.
Yeah.
But they were
still allow-
specifically shot
Yeah, for goods.
for goods, not
Okay.
for human beings.
If you have valid travel papers,
You
like,
can still come in.
like
Yeah,
the American that came in through
the land border.
to the land border now with the coronavirus.
Yeah.
I mean, he has valid
Papers.
travel papers.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a pandemic. It is here with us, and while commending the Lagos State government, we still need to do more. I think just this afternoon, the Lagos State government is thinking of advising religious bodies to cancel Jumats and
programs and
Sunday programs,
yeah.
which is the reasonable thing to do, because we are approaching that period now that, I mean, we need to cut our socializing. I mean, because if you look at the trend, global trend of the way this COVID-19 is transmitted, take for example, in week 1, in Nigeria, Spain, Italy, and US, you have 1 case in Nigeria, week 1, 8 in Spain, 2 in Italy, and 2 in US. Now, week 2, no reports in Nigeria, it jumped to 674. To 74 in Spain, 43 in Italy, 105. I mean, between week 1 and week 2, you have between 2 and 105. Now, week 3, so because the more contacts, I mean, the more people socialize, even from door handles, you can catch it. So, week 3, we had 2 cases in Nigeria, 105 in Spain. In Italy, it jumped from 43 to 245.
Yeah.
And also in New York, 105 to 613. Week 4, we are in week 4 now in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Now today, between yesterday and today, we've had 5 cases. So total number of cases in Nigeria today, we have 8. And in Spain, from 105, it has jumped to 356. And in Italy, now hear this, from 245 to 4,747, because Italy has the highest rate of aging population in the world, and this thing hits the aged more than younger people. So that explains why Italy is ballooning. And in New York, we have from 613 to 1,250. So America is thinking of giving each home now, each family, like $1,000 to cushion the effect. And I'm hearing snippets from Abuja too that the federal government is contemplating reducing fuel pump price from 145 naira to 130 naira. That is something that will go around and cushion this effect. In Philippines, they have declared a state of calamity, not emergency, a state of calamity, which shows the seriousness of what we have in our hands.
Jamiu, at this point in time, should government be hurried into asking religious organizations to shut down?
In fact,
these religious
it is the religious organizations that should even tell their members to stay at home.
That's it.
That is the truth, be it a Muslim or Christian or whatever you believe in. They should be the one. Fine, we need prayers, but people can pray from home, because this is the time that we need to reduce contacts and socializing, even parties and what have you. It is better to lose money than to lose lives.
Okay, at this point, we'll turn things over to Babajide-Otitoju. He's in the nation's capital. Jide, if you're there, how do you do?
I'm fine, citizen.
Yeah, so what can you tell us?
Well, I will say that I'm excited that the federal government eventually took the decision to restrict flights from the viral-burdened countries. Countries like China, Italy, Norway, UK, the US, Spain, South Korea, Iran, Japan, France, Germany, Netherlands, and Switzerland. This is a decision that we should have taken before now. But it seems that we are now realizing that this virus that we were taking lightly, if we do not move in quickly and take drastic actions, we could be in serious trouble.
Yeah, yeah.
So the government has taken some decisions in the last 48 hours that I'm excited about. For example, the postponement of the National Sports Festival that was built to hold in Benin City. The shutting down of the National Youth Service Corps orientation camps.
Yeah.
Because if the Americans are saying, look, we do not want any crowd that is more than 10, how can we be organizing NYC orientation camps and all that? We are putting ourselves in serious danger. This thing is spreading. This afternoon, Gambia recorded its first positive case. So we have no less than 170 countries of the world afflicted by this virus. And we have now about 8,200 deaths recorded.
Across the world.
And more than half of these deaths were recorded outside of China. So the era of simply looking at this as a disease that afflicts the Chinese is gone. It's a disease that afflicts everyone now.
Yeah.
So we have to we have to begin to shut down the churches. Tell the churches, look, this is not the time. I'm happy that the Living Faith Church took the decision on its own to not to not have services.
Yeah.
So churches and mosques, if in Iran open prayers are being banned, then we can do it in Nigeria.
Yeah, and Italy too.
We have to take decisive steps to arrest this scourge before we have the situation that is similar to that of Italy and America on our hands.
All right, Jide, as at the last count, we talked about 5 screening centers across the country. Is that still the situation?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely, more and more states are opening screening centers. But what we want to see is not just screening centers. The screening centers should be well equipped so that they can even be turned to centers where care can be given immediately. For example, close to our borders, we can have centers where people can be treated, people can be observed over a period of time before we let them go and mix with the rest of us. After all, one of the 5 cases discovered today came in through the land borders. So who knows how many people have come into Nigeria through the land borders? So anyone who is coming to our country from any part of the world, the airlines must be compelled to provide information about their passengers so that everyone goes through screening. I like the way Sanwo-Olu, the governor of Lagos State, my namesake, spoke. He said, this one, nobody should be exempted. He has warned the officials. There is nothing like a big man. Anybody could be infected. So people must be put through screening at all the entry points into our country. That's the only way we can save ourselves. In America now, in Dallas, playgrounds have been shut down, golf courses shut down. Now, it is only people who pre-order meals that will have those meals delivered to them because restaurants are being shut down. The world now realizes that it is facing a very big problem. The government of Germany has offered to assist businesses and individuals with the sum of $600 billion. It's an economic pain that this virus has inflicted on everyone.
Oh boy.
I just read the story that 85% of revenue of oil-producing countries will be affected. That means we have a global economic recession on our hands.
That's it. That's it.
And nobody knows when this whole thing will come to an end.
Jide, as we say...
So it's terrible. It's really terrible.
Jide, as we say, you be vigilant, but don't be suspicious. As you have agreed, the government has reacted, so better late than never. We can build on this. We can build on this, right?
Oh, we've got to. We've got to.
Okay then. Thanks, Jide. We might come back to you. BC, you know, I'm looking at the ban on foreign travel by government officials. Is it possible to enforce?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I mean, that is even the easiest thing to enforce.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If they are government officials, the money for travel comes from government, and even the government has made it clear that even trips that have hitherto been approved
will stand down.
Yes. No, they are still affected. They
have
to stand them down. So, and since government is sponsoring those trips, I mean, I think that makes it easier. That's why I said it's easier to enforce. I mean, it's better than individuals, you know, going on private trips, and, you know, we still have our fundamental human rights, and you really can't enforce, you know, that telling people not to travel.
But see, those rights must stand down. This is a global emergency.
Yeah, but government has not even come out to say, my citizens, you cannot travel. You know, they have to be careful. They only urge people that, you see, if you don't really have any reason, any urgent reason to travel.
Are you thinking medical trips?
Well, yeah, I think so. I think for medical trips and some other emergencies, you know, but I think a lot of people are also being careful now. I also read about stories of people that have even traveled and they are contemplating either staying back, you know, extending their stay wherever
those who are outside of our shores.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So that things will be under control before they venture to come back to Nigeria.
Can you ever envisage or imagine a Nigerian self-isolating?
See,
because countries around the world, we hear
it is
self-isolation is perhaps one. Yeah?
It is in our best interests, and I think people have been doing it. The third corona case of the lady that the Commissioner for Health in Lagos State, Professor Akin Abayomi, told us yesterday, actually self-isolated herself when she came back. She was screened at the airport, no temperature. She traveled outside. I mean, she went to UK on 1st of March, returned on 13th of March, and came back with the virus. But as at the time, you know, because this virus needs about 14 days to incubate, as at the time she was coming in, there were no signs. I mean, no temperature and any other visible signs, but she already had the virus. So she self-isolated, and when it was getting out of hand, she had to make that call, and she was tested. Lo and behold, she was positive. So I think the best thing is for those who just came back to Nigeria from those prevalent countries, especially UK, US, China, Spain, Italy. If any of them finds their way into Nigeria but I think this ban is taking effect from 20th of March. I mean, that's in about 48 hours. So it's not something that is immediate. We still have flights coming in today, and there are so many connecting flights from here and there. So I think it's in the interest of all of us for them to please self-quarantine, isolate themselves, so that they can save us an imminent calamity, because like the Philippines declared, it's a state of calamity, because the rate at which the thing is multiplying is quite alarming.
Mojeed, a pandemic is what it is.
Yes, and you know, I compare Lagos to the size of New York. New York is about 19.2 million. Lagos is around 20 million. The facility we have in Lagos is expandable, but at the moment it can only take about 200. It can be expanded, the facility at Yaba, and there's another one at the IDP, which is being set up. But nobody prays that we have the kind of the hydra-headed case that we have in other countries. So we can only pray, but then we also need to do our own part.
When you pray, you work.
You work and
Jide
pray.
will admit that, you know, it is, here we pray and pray, and so on. Jide, you know, Abuja remains the city of the high and the mighty, and how they are coping is something one begins to imagine, you know. You don't associate freely anymore. That you used to go there, and so you cannot. So it's a different ball game altogether.
Yeah, we are dealing with it, acutely aware that we are not at the level of some of those countries of the world. The Minister of Health has tried to allay the fears of our people by saying that Nigeria is not one of the community nations. That is countries where you can find
Nigeria is not a
huge
flashpoint.
number of people.
Yeah.
Yes, a huge. I'm trying to use this exact word.
Okay.
Nigeria is not a country where you could have hundreds of people in the same area
At a given
who
time.
have the problem. For example, look at those Italians who were in a yacht and they all got infected. The same thing happened in Japan. Hundreds of people in a yacht and they were infected. So the minister is saying that, look, Nigeria is not that kind of country. Yes, we are hearing of people being infected here and there, but we have not reached that point in which we should really be panicking. Yes, we have to take measures, and those measures, I'm happy that those measures are being taken. In America now, 37 states have already shut down their schools. Whereas the health system in America is grappling seriously with this problem, because there are not enough ventilators. This is a breathing-related disease.
Yeah. Okay. Airborne.
And there are not enough ventilators in America to take care of people who are afflicted.
Yeah.
Now the government is begging people that those who have scheduled what you call elective surgeries should please defer those elective surgeries so that the public health system can handle the emergencies that we have at this time. Doctors and nurses who are retired are being begged in America to come back to work because there are not enough nurses and doctors to handle the situation as it were. I do not pray that we'll get to that situation in Nigeria. So if we need to take greater measures to ensure that we do not get to that point that the Americans have found themselves, that the Italians have found themselves, then we have to really move fast. The era of saying that, because I've heard some Nigerians say, oh, this thing is not a problem in Nigeria because our weather is hot. It is the height of ignorance. Because some of the countries of the world affected by this disease are even hotter than Nigeria.
Iran.
Australia is hot.
Yeah.
And Australia has this problem. In fact, Australia is so hot that sometimes the heat of the sun sets forests on fire. So, and who is going to tell me that Iran is not hot? Iran is hot enough at this time of the year.
Yeah.
Yet Iran has this problem. So Nigerians should not belittle this big problem. In fact, the Americans are saying nobody knows when it will end.
Yeah.
And that is what scares me. But if everyone will adopt the right measures, within a month, it is possible to defeat this virus.
Yeah, yeah.
And if we are patient, the world will eventually be free of this virus, and we can begin to pick up the pieces of our lives, because it's really damaging lives, as it were. People are losing their jobs. Yeah. Airlines are in serious trouble. You go to Heathrow now, it's like a graveyard.
All right. Jide, many thanks. These your words have a way of dampening one's yeah. So, but stay there, Jide. We'll get back to you in the course of the evening. At this point, we'll take a breather, a few commercials, and we'll return. Please don't go. Well, welcome back, folks. Still to come will be, as soon as we are done with this matter, we'll look at the APC, of course. You know what's on. But then let's look at the COVID-19 pandemic. It is here. It's not, there's no second guessing what might happen. Jamiu, consider the way Nigerians react to things. Jide just talked about, we hear the weather here is hot, blah, 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 blah. And do you know that thing can travel far? See, no worry. And
the way we joke with things in Nigeria, gets me cracking. I was with a friend this morning. I was telling me, MJ, they say if I check chinaps, say the thing of near me. I say, oh boy, this thing goes beyond chinaps. So, and before you know it, you have some drinks that are making the rounds on social media now, anti-COVID-19.
I don't hear snuff. And earlier this afternoon, I saw a man.
Somebody said if he eats enough orobo, bitter cola, that's the thing. See, we should. So
what's the link?
I don't understand.
An airborne ailment or disease and bitter cola.
What is the truth about COVID-19 is that, thank God, the vaccines are now coming out from China. It's been tested in Canada and in America. And people are responding. And another good news from the Minister of Health and the Commissioner for Health in Lagos, that the first two corona cases are responding positively. So, those are good because they are being well managed. So, I think those are news that are sharing, and also given the fact that if you look at the rates of spread from week 1 to week 4 in Nigeria, for example, from between week 1 and week 4 in Nigeria, it's just from 1 to 8. But if you look at a place like Italy, from week 1, from 2.
Italy is one of the hardest
from
hit.
2 in week 1, they are now in week 5, 21,000 to 25,000 with about 3,000 deaths. And in America, from week 1 to week 4, from 2 cases to 1,250. That is in New York City alone. And also Spain, from 8 in week 1 to 6,043 in week 4. So if you look at all of this, we'll still count ourselves lucky, especially for the rate of preparedness. You see Jide commending the governor of Lagos State. He has been going to that Yaba Center. Is constantly in touch. The Ministry of Information is printing handbills, educating people. You go to banks. I was in a bank today, and they gave me hand sanitizer before I could enter. So a lot of enlightenment is going on. And a lot of homes, while of course some Nigerians are also cashing in on that to increase the prices of hand sanitizers and stuff like that. But to all of us, we need to take our hygiene much. The basic one is for us to wash our hands for at least 20 seconds.
Okay.
At least 20 seconds. That's the basic one for all of us.
No,
Each
no,
time
forget
we
20
go out.
seconds. Make we wash our hands.
Make we wash our well.
Because BC will tell you, look, forget about 20 seconds. You know, Nigerians have a peculiar way of reacting to things like this. Now, it has affected sports. In England, which is the home of soccer, you know, everything is gone.
Yeah.
You know, happily, the Nigerian sports minister here has cancelled every sports game, and the sports festival that was to
Edo 2020.
So you want a ripple effect from soccer. We talked about religion. Schools by now should be on holiday.
Yeah, I was coming to that. We in fact, we should look at our schools more carefully. There are so many children and adults in schools. Let's look at from primary, let's even look at it from crèche, kindergarten, nursery, primary, secondary, then the universities. And you know, some of our universities actually have foreign students.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and I know some of them are on holiday now. They are on semester break. Now, you don't know what can happen. So I think it's a wise decision to just probably...
Every human activity, stand them down
for probably maybe 2 weeks. And let's assess the impact of this for now. And I also think that government should by now be setting up more testing centers, because there is no testing center in the entire North Island.
At least for the moment.
For the moment, yeah. And even in the Southeast. And we have 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. Having just 5 testing centers is just too small. And I tell people that even when you talk about hygiene, there is it can just go this far. Are you telling me that the Americans are not hygienic? All these countries in Europe, are they not hygienic? Now, you can just imagine how our public facilities are. Can you imagine how our public toilets are in Nigeria? If you ever visited anywhere outside the country, we know how they are. And if in spite of that hygienic situation, they are still in this kind of...
Are these infested?
Yes, then it means that it's a big problem.
Yeah.
So we should be looking at actually taking drastic steps that may probably involve
I guess we have
shutting
no choice.
down a lot of things.
All right.
Just
reduce human activity and interaction and so on.
Yeah.
Jide, how do you bury this? We are here. You know, how do you bury it from Abuja?
We just need to continue the enlightenment. Use all the platforms available to drive home the point that at this time we must limit interaction, form of large crowds and all that. It will be difficult to convince young people not to congregate at bars, at drinking dens, but we have to keep telling them that it is in their best interest. You know, this thing will go. The pain is just for a short while. It will eventually go, but we must avoid a situation in which we now become like Italy, where the health system is overwhelmed by numerous cases of people who have the virus.
Jide, quickly,
have to be treated.
Jide, quickly, aren't you missing the National Orientation Agency at this point in time?
They should be doing a lot more. But what you see is it's like the Minister of Health and the people in Lagos are the ones driving this campaign. Yes, Lagos is the number one gateway, you know, for our country. So Lagos has a big role to play, but there are other entry points into our country.
Yeah.
So this campaign should be sustained across the country. I'm looking at a situation in which we have many mobile hospitals, additional hospital beds created in various states, so that when we have a problem on our hands, we'll be able to deal with it. Okay. So we have to really prepare. Nobody knows when this will end. Even the Americans have told their citizens that Nobody can say with finality when this will end. But we must sustain the battle against this virus that Donald Trump called the Chinese virus.
All right, thank you, Jide. Quickly, Jamiu, we must take it home. I just talked about the National Orientation Agency, orientating the people every available opportunity.
Yes, like Jide just said, I mean, I think we should give kudos to the Lagos State government team. You can see the governor, he was at the airport yesterday where he also cancelled them. I mean, the Commissioner for Health in Lagos, that man has been fantastic, Professor Akin Abayomi. He's been updating us on a daily basis. And the guys at the State Ministry of Information, I mean, they have been working all around to ensure that people get enlightened. I mean, you would think it's only Lagos that is handling this matter. Of course, there are interventions from Hanire once in a while and the director in charge of the NCDC in Abuja. But I think they need to do more. And by the time the $40 million from the World Bank comes for the countries affected by this COVID-19, they should remember that Lagos actually played a role, because I recall that during the Ebola, the money that came ended somewhere and never got to Lagos. That actually killed that Ebola virus. So they should allow the thing to get to Lagos.
You sound as if you were surprised.
So,
Madam, quickly, as mother figure, you have a lot of role to play. Mothers are around the country. This is the time. Mothers, children, family, and so on.
Well, I think everyone should just take proactive steps. They try as much as possible to keep to the rules of the game.
Okay.
Whatever one can do to decrease exposure to things that are susceptible to the virus, we should try to do. And I think families in general should just, maybe they should just sit down, plan their lives, and just, I think people could even take decisions by themselves. You don't need to wait for a church to tell you not to come to church for service before you can take a decision not to go.
All right.
So,
okay then, so we leave it there, but not to forget to tell you that if we err at all, not on the side of caution. The pandemic is here. We don't need to tell you anyway. It is not here to stay, but it is here for now. We must deal with it. Okay then, you know, compromise in politics is a cardinal principle. After all, neither friendship nor enmity is permanent in the business. APC National Chairman, Comrade Adams Aliyu Oshiomhole, who is on a razor edge, has moved to mend fences with distressed members, especially those who went to court for redress. In an abrupt about-face, what you call voter fake, the Comrade Chairman declared that there was no crisis in the party, especially the National Working Committee. You believe him? But did lament, though, that some members had headed for the courts. To him, it's to forgive and to go forward. In politics, any reconciliation is accomplished by justice. Jamiu.
Yeah, as it is, I like the steps being taken by Oshiomhole. When he came in yesterday, I mean, I've had these fears, but I think my fears are laid as at yesterday, and no, rather as at today, because when he got to the National Secretariat of the APC yesterday, he was welcomed by Giadome. I mean, the Efan Terrible, who became the acting national chairman, and he was in charge for about 2 weeks before that order was vacated. So they actually hugged themselves yesterday. So it's
but that's politics.
No, well, it's politics, but that's why I'm saying I hope that continues. And another salvo came from Benin, where the governor there, not surprising, Obaseki, said, well, Oshiomhole is my godfather. I owe everything to him. And I mean,
was it in a motion picture?
No, you see.
In real life.
And Oshiomhole also responded. He said, yeah, you can go and sin no more. Don't start to begin to sin again. Yeah. As I said, everybody should go and withdraw all those cases from courts, and that the party will forge, ahead stronger. I just hope that these are not by the words of mouth alone, but it is in the best. I mean, this is what we expect of Oshiomhole. Play that fatherly role. Forgive all those who have offended you. Forget about the fact that you have lifted some people.
No, I
from,
hope you are not saying forgive and forget them.
If you forgive, he might not forget. But forgiveness,
yeah,
I mean, is a sure way. And in politics, there's this adage that says that you don't dip the pit of enmity too deep in politics.
Yeah.
So that, because even you can fall into it, so that you will be able to come out.
BC would have heard that the suspicion, BC, is that 2023 is at play.
Exactly. That is just it. And it's just unfortunate that politicians take Nigerians for granted. I mean, this is just 2020, for crying out loud.
Oh, come on.
And you are already thinking about 2023. Let's face it, nobody is deceived here. People know that the whole thing about this crisis in APC is about 2023. And I think the party should be more serious. They should. You play politics everywhere. Even in America, where we copy all these democratic norms from. You can see what the Republicans and the Democrats have been doing since Trump became president. It's normal to play politics, but for crying out loud, when you play politics, just consider the people, respect people, and know that also you are in power to perform some roles, to provide some services, to do certain things, and you don't just abuse the sensibilities of people.
And power is transient.
It's transient. Just do things that will please the people, and you can play your politics here and there. Yeah. Of course, it's all politics, and we're enjoying it. It's good also that this is happening. At least we have a space for the country.
All right.
To move forward.
And they should not allow it to impact negatively on the economy.
Exactly.
Okay. Jide, I think I almost can hear you say, we have been here before.
You were even here yesterday.
Say, not today, Yeah, yeah.
You see, I suggested to the national chairman of the APC to reach out to all aggrieved parties. And I'm happy that he has done that. Oshiomhole is a human being like the rest of us. He has his strengths and he has his weaknesses. No man created by God is perfect. So his strengths, we saw his strengths during the campaigns, when they went around the states, showed so much energy at campaign grounds, and rallied support for the candidates of the party. And he led the party to victory. My view is that such a national chairman who led his party to victory shouldn't be disgraced out of office. Now, the president has done the right thing by stepping in. I did say many times that once the president made his position clear, other people will fall in. That's what has happened. The moment the president showed clearly, look, I'm not going to attend that NEC meeting. Not only did he let them know that I will not attend the NEC meeting, he went ahead to cancel the NEC meeting, which was a breather for Oshiomhole. And ultimately, he got the ruling that he wanted from the Superior Court, the Court of Appeal. Because despite the ruling of the Kano Court, Oshiomhole technically remained suspended and he did not move near the headquarters of the party, so as not to risk contempt of court. But he has now shown clearly that he wants to reconcile with the people who had issues with him. Lawan Abdul Kadri, Inu Abdul Kadri, the lawyer from Sokoto State, was suspended on the flimsy charge that he was Governor Tambuwa's friend, and I worked against the party. There was no evidence of that. A man does not, Tambuwa used to be in the APC. A man does not suddenly become an enemy to a true friend just because the friend moved to another party. And some individuals in the Sokoto chapter of the party got together, reported him, and he was suspended. The same man who had his house demolished by the little governor of Kaduna State got suspended by his party again. So he had to go to court. But today, Abdul Kadri has had his suspension lifted, and he attended the meeting. Lawan Shuaibu, who abused Oshiomhole the other day too, over the Zamfara debacle, is also back. His suspension lifted. The NWC had this meeting, and the meeting was a success. Many of us never imagined that the meeting would be such a success.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It means that between them now, they really want to have peace, because that is the only way to keep the party strong.
Yeah, okay.
If you chase a man so much, and God says it's not time for you to lay your hands on him, then you just have to accept your fate.
Okay.
Because the interest of the party is greater than anything.
Okay.
So they are back as one. I want to see the momentum, the reconciliation momentum sustained. And I want that even from his home state of Edo, if the governor who has been abusing him all over the place, and his deputy who have shown no respect to Oshiomhole who made them, if they would retrace their steps, I think it will be in the interest of the party.
Okay, okay. All right.
So let the reconciliation continue.
I guess they have no choice at this time. Jamiu, let's quickly take you to America in the mind's eyes. Joe Biden, it is election year in America this year. Joe Biden was playing catch-up. Today, Joe Biden is in the forefront there. Bernie Sanders is tailing him. 2020, and we are aping America, American-type democracy. That's what we are practicing. But it's not. Is the trouble with the system or the men who run the system here?
Yeah, I'm happy that we're even talking about America. Suddenly, Joe Biden has become the star boy. But then, another funny thing for the Americans, which they would have to grapple with, is the fact that they are going to be having a contest between those who will be at least...
You are taking your thoughts home.
At least 73 years old, because Trump is 73 now, and I think Joe Biden is even older. So, but in Nigeria, we should play this game. And you see, Sanders is already thinking of conceding, because after that Super Tuesday, I mean, it's. I think we should learn one or two things from those guys. So you can see him,
because we can.
I can see a Sanders collapsing his campaign into into Biden's own, even before
because both of them want Trump ousted.
Yeah.
Outside.
And they have Americans' interest as number one.
BC, how do you take this home?
Well, Nigerians' interest, first and foremost. Whatever politics we are playing, let's just have Nigerians' interest as the first thing. And I think that is the difference between us and the Americans.
All right. Well, that will just about do it for the program this evening. Thank you for your time. And of course, Jide, enjoying his stay in Abuja. I hope he enjoys it, because he'll be...
There's no lockdown.
So long as he's
there's no lockdown in Abuja.
So long as he's not hemmed in.
There's no case reported yet.
And no case reported yet in Abuja. so Jide can eat his...
So enjoy your time. So that's it for today. Let's thank Jamiu, Mojeed Jamiu, for coming.
Thank you.
And BC Deji-Folutile.
Yes, you got it.
I got it right?
Yeah,
okay.
you did.
So be it. Thank you. Please come again.
Thank you.
All right. If you missed the show, you may watch the show also on other platforms. We'll display on the screen for you. Don't forget the feedback channel remains the same. And so on behalf of the backroom boys here, may I say, enjoy your time, but remember the pandemic is here to, well, here with us, not to stay. Let's not err on the side of caution because we can do it. Bye-bye now.